Welcome back, everybody. I'm Abe with MysticGenMara.com, a small town mystic from the middle of Idaho. And tonight, whenever you happen to be seeing this, I would like to offer your yearly forecast for the elemental energies. And tonight we're going to do fire. Fire covers the zodiac signs of Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And how I would like to do this is we're going to break the year up into quarters. So we'll look at a guide or guardian. This year I'm using a crystal deck, so you can have that crystal on your altar. You can wear it as jewelry, carry it in your pocket like I do. And then there is a guardian that will work with you through that quarter if you're interested in those kind of things. If not, just take the message for what it is. And then we'll look at each month through the tarot and get a little clarification, kind of what kind of energies or paths we're walking as we go through each month as well as each quarter. So with that, we will get started. If you're curious about any of the decks I'm using, they're linked in the description down below. And we are going to now go ahead and start pulling our cards. We'll do quarter by quarter just so it's easier for my small desk. So for our first quarter here, we are looking at the guide of Archangel Metatron. Great way to start the year off. And your crystal is clear quartz. Now this is for January, February, and March. So this card is called Power. And it says, you embrace the opportunity to explore a healthy relationship with personal power. This supports your spiritual journey to fulfill your destiny for the benefit of all beings. You choose to express your power in a way that is respectful, merciful, and kind towards yourself and all others. You utilize your growing powers to awaken your boldness and confidence and recognize the inevitability of your divine fulfillment. So the first part of this year is really going to be you stepping into the highest aspect of yourself. Quartz crystal is a beautiful, simple stone to carry around with you. It gives off a very gentle but amplification type energy. So whatever's going on, quartz is definitely going to amplify it. And when you have the energy of quartz and Metatron coming forward, you are really setting yourself up for some pretty big changes in life. But it's going to be in a way that you're actually super comfortable with. So the first part of this year, just from that perspective, is definitely going to be time for some shifts to occur, ready or not. So our January energy is the 10 of Pentacles. So 2025 was a interesting year. And when we start off in January with the 10 of Pentacles, this is really a call to enjoy how far you've come. Enjoy the fruits of your labor. If you got that promotion this year, if you popped the question to that special someone, if you had the baby, this first month of the year is really to embrace and enjoy all of the things that you've accomplished so far. The 10 of Pentacles is very much about celebration in this moment, and it's also about how intense the last year was, because you finished it. You got through everything that was 2025 had to offer, and boy did it offer. So you're ready to step into something new, but you're going to enjoy how far you've come before you get to that. And as a clarifier, we have the Thoth light codes: light initiation, great teacher awakening, and divine magic. So you are in a very powerful place of completing something. Everything's coming to an end. You're ready to start the next chapter, but you're also celebrating. And Thoth is bringing forward, or Toth, depending on who you read, is bringing in these powerful energies from the sun, which this is just after Yule, so it's coming into that solar energy again. And this is a reminder that you don't have to worry. You've done so much, you've learned so many things, and January is a time for that celebration, but also to be open to the changes that are coming in, because you definitely are moving into a higher state. How that will play out is up to you. We're looking at the general energy here, so you take this as if applies to you. February, short month, is the 6 of Water. Memories from your history or childhood issues regarding children and romanticizing the past. So February is going to have a little bit of shadow work coming forward. The Six of Water is looking at life without the rose-colored glasses. It's not always the most easy thing to do, and so you might be working with some inner child work in the second month of the year. And actually, when you work with Metatron, that is one of the things that may come forward, because when we look to our inner child, we look to our how we got to where we're at type energy, you might realize really quickly that you have some things that you may have misinterpreted in the past. You might have forgotten some things that maybe need to be dealt with in the moment. Good, bad, indifferent, because something that might be good for somebody, like watching this, they look back and they're like, well, no, that was a really good thing. And then you really start to focus and you're like, wait a minute. Or other something else where you felt like it was the worst decision ever made. But now that you're older, you look back and you're like, oh, actually, I needed to have that happen because now I'm here. So getting that ability to look back, and in February being the shortest month of the year, it's really saying this is not a long-term thing. This is something to reflect upon, figure out what's going on, process what you can, and move forward. But you're not staying here. This is just a check-in type of a thing. And with that, your clarification is the sacred inner space, sacral chakra, which is just below your belly button, tenderness and sensuality. So even though you're going through this challenging energy with trying to see and understand the past, the sacred inner space is saying, now you get to understand what that inner child was really calling you for. This is where you start to be more in tune with your senses. This is where the term sensuality comes from. It's not just about bedroom activities. It's about understanding life through touch, through taste, through smell, through hearing, through visual contacts. When we really amplify and accentuate our senses, life becomes a lot more interesting, and it can be it can cause a lot more pleasure, but it also can enhance the pain. And that's why when you look to the past and come to understanding of the past, it makes things a lot easier as you're moving forward. So February is definitely that balance of pleasure, pain, but in the fact of your own history. Not so much in the physical moment, but your history can trigger some interesting responses at times. I will not deny that. So March, bringing the end to the first quarter, is the 9 of Air, expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. Fire. March is not... You're coming out of February with some heavy energy being cleared. The 9 of Air is saying don't get bogged down by February. February is just a little hiccup. It's there to remind you it's time to grow, it's time to process these things. But you notice that the unicorns in this picture are not scared. They're not expecting danger, because they understand that this is a feeling that is coming forward. You've processed it. You don't have to keep carrying it around with you. The 9 of Air in this instance is really saying clear out the heavy. You processed, it came to the front in February, but in March, it's time to let it go. It's time to release that which no longer serves you, however that may manifest in your particular environment. And to clarify all that, we have the Sword of Light. This is Archangel Michael's sword. Divine protection, cords cut, breaking through the energy. So these two literally amplify each other. 9 of Air is saying, sword, 9 of Swords, clear it out. You don't need it. Let it go. It may not feel the most comfortable in the moment. It's necessary to release, because February was a heavier month. But the Sword of Light is bringing forward, when you release this, notice what happens. You're cutting anchors, fire. You're cutting burdens away. It's not always the most easy thing to experience, but it's going to be necessary. And what's beautiful about the necessary aspect, when you cut it loose and you really step into the next phase of your life, March is actually going to be very rewarding, but it's got to start with a little uncomfortable energy to start with, just so you can kick things off and get going in the right direction. Because March is also the month of spring, so you're in that beautiful energy anyway, and it's saying, time to do your spring cleaning, fire. This is not, you're not going to carry this stuff forward, clear it out, because something better is coming, which is the message of spring anyway. as I fight with my microphone. So your second quarter, which is going to be April, May, and June, your stone and entity is the goddess Terra, and the stone is Tibetan quartz. I personally do not own Tibetan quartz yet, but I'm going to look into it. We have her eye ever open. You acknowledge that your inner light is growing stronger, shining brighter, and becoming more visible. You relax in the understanding that the brighter the light, the more powerful the spiritual protection you generate for yourself and all beings. You shine fearless and true with respectful boundaries that honor the need for all beings to choose their path. You attract and emanate a high level of spiritual guidance, wisdom, and protection for all. So your second quarter is starting off with a get up and get moving. But it's also saying you don't have to be physically active. This is a spiritual thing. The energies are definitely doing some inner work with you this year, Friar. And what's interesting with this is what came forward in the first quarter was you have to do some inner work, do a little clearing out, make some space. But then in the second quarter, it's saying this is why. Just like the end of March said, there's something better coming, something has to be let go of so that you can make room. You have to cut the cords of the past to be able to accept the future. That's where we're at right here. So let's take a peek at April. April is number 9, the Hermit. The Hermit is pulling away from society, allowing yourself to grow spiritually. This is a call to look inward, which you did in the first quarter and really got some things cleared out, but now it's time to fill that cleared out space. The Hermit is bringing in the light of the moon, of intuition, of the soul, and you have a guiding star that's bringing you in, and the Hermit is a very grounded energy. So coming out of that interesting chaos that's the first part of the year, you're moving into a place where you're actually more grounded than you were before because you have a deeper understanding, Fire, of who and what you are in the moment. And April is the time where that realization kind of anchors itself, is what I'm hearing. This is not a time for, oh, I just don't understand what that was all about. By the end of April, you're going to, because it was necessary to happen because, well, you got to process some of those, past issues, whether it's past life or this life that just kind of wasn't the greatest in the beginning. Your clarifier is the higher heart activation, dropping the shields, divine love. Your heart is healed. The high heart in a lot of modern day chakra work is in between your heart chakra and your throat chakra, about halfway. So it sits right about your sternum area, about your high sternum area. So when we look at the Hermit and the higher heart activation, the Hermit is pulling away from society, pulling away from the chaos, because there's a different journey being offered. There's a different energy coming in, and that is awakening this other side of who you are. You've cleared space. Now the Hermit's trying to find out what to fill it with. What you're filling it with is the higher heart activation. This is where you get to understand at a deeper level what it really means to process out stuff. You're not processing it just to be like, okay, I did the next step. You're processing it out so that you can elevate out of whatever situation. And Fire, we're not even halfway through the year, but I'm getting this really strong. 2025 was a big lesson year. Really fun, right? The first quarter is saying, okay, you knocked a bunch of stuff loose. Time to clear it out, because you're moving into a different phase of your life. This is a different era altogether for you, and that's why the Hermit is saying you might need a minute. You might just need some time away. When you finally get everything cleared up, good things are coming, according to what March was saying. In April, it's just like, it's a lot and I just need a minute. If you're in a place where your ground starts getting soft, go out and start playing in your garden. Go start playing with plants. Figure out what you're going to put in your garden, whatever pots you're putting on your patio, whatever it is. This is the time to do that, because that's a nice, quiet, grounding exercise, and that's something that is really coming forward strong for April for our Fire family. Is the Hermit is helping you ground yourself back into the present moment. So in May, we have the High Priestess, number 2. The High Priestess standing between the gateway between beauty and severity. This is a path of the middle ground. The Hermit is helping you understand yourself, and in May, you get to step forward saying, nope, I got this. You're coming out. This is this is the doorway. You're coming out of that with a greater understanding and a much deeper intuitive guidance. Your connection to your guides and guardians, your connection to God Source Divine. May is where you really start to feel more open to that. Even if you've already been open to this kind of energy forever, basically, you're going to feel a shift in it. It's going to be way more personal than it was before. And it's going to feel like you went from just being friends to your best friend. And I'm not talking like, oh, my bestie, more like that person that you know you can pour your heart and soul out to, and they're not going to judge you. They might, give you the blunt, honest truth, but they're not going to judge you harshly for it. And that's what I'm getting here is the Hermit, once they understand that deeper part and activate these other intuitive or spiritual lessons, in May, you're coming out of that point and you're ready to spread that message. You're ready to basically teach the next generation, because the High Priestess is a teacher as well. Your clarifier is the Akashic Stargate, aligned with purpose, crossroads, and no wrong path. Fire, you really are stepping into your own. When you come out of April and go into May, this is that energy of that shift. You're shifting from the cold and the winter, you're moving through spring and towards summer. You have Beltane coming in with May, so you've got this fertility energy. Things are happening and energy is birthing. And with the Akashic Stargate, it's saying now you can see more clearly what your soul's journey is. Now, does that mean you're going to have all the answers that quick in May? No, sorry. But you will have more clarity in May because you've already processed and worked through this. This energy that's coming forward here is I'm feeling very strongly that this is going to be a time where you walk out with confidence. And people might notice. They'll be like, something's different. Are you doing something different in your personal life? Is there like a different, are you more religious? Something's different about you. You may not even realize that this has shifted that much. You might see it as, oh, I've just processed some stuff. Other people are going to notice it. And that's where that subtle energy of the teacher is going to start coming forward, is you're going to start consciously or subconsciously guiding others through some of their stuff as you go through the month of May. That's not to be scary. Fire, this is actually something that you do have a choice in. You can choose to do this or you can choose not to. Everything is up to you. But the universe is really saying this is the kind of energy that's being brought forward for you. So let's look at June. June also carries the month of midsummer. Sorry, the holiday of midsummer. We have the Three of Earth, the power of creativity, recognition for a very, very high quality work, and being a team player. June for you, Fire, is about coming together to build something better. Coming together to expand. Your creativity, your passion project, your interest in new things really is going to take flight in this new fertile ground of the summer. This is where you have the longest day of the year. Your garden is really starting to show evidence of growth, and it could be a physical garden or a spiritual garden. But this is a time where things are expanding. Things are greening up. Your flowers are blooming. You're blooming. Everything is moving into its higher and best state. So Fire, the Three of Earth is calling you for your creativity, but it's also saying recognize how far you've come and recognize the people that have come with you on this journey, whether it's a spouse, whether it is a best friend, whether it's a teacher, whatever it might be. Pay attention to that. And you don't have to acknowledge out loud, like walk up to him, I just love you so much. You can also walk up to him and just be like, hey, you want to go grab dinner? And this is that whole, you don't have to make it gushy, but you should try to recognize them for their contribution. And if it's not something you're comfortable doing out loud, because some of us aren't, you can easily go to the astral and talk to their higher self and just be like, I really appreciate your existence in this world. It makes things better in my world, and I hope that I can reflect that back for you and amplify you as well. So you have simple ways of processing this, but you are definitely in a very strong, expansive state here in June. And your clarifier is the Sirius star blessing. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. Fire really is not a secret for you at this point. You're in the point of expanding and growth. The Sirius star blessing wants to bring this positivity forward. June is going to be a really good month for our fire family. There's a lot of growth potential here, and it's just a good time to go outside and have some fun. Go camping, go hang out with the friends, have that little bonfire on the back in the back 40. Do the things that make you feel alive and really embrace that passion, that growth, and that the thing that makes you smile. Embrace that. Go that direction. This is a great time to really amplify joy and happiness. So June, ending the second quarter, is all about have as much fun as you possibly can, safely of course, and embrace life, embrace living. So let's take a peek at our third quarter, July, August, and September. We have the goddess Lakshmi. This is a good sign. And the stone is the dendritic agate, or opal, depending on which stone you can find. Very good healing stones, very much about the heart chakra and growth. And with that, the card's title is Her Golden Grace. Enlightenment, prosperity, goodness, and grace flow through and around you. It is through your soul's dance in soft light, golden honey-like energy and abundance with nourishment and healing properties. Through her gentleness, the goddess offers your soul an irresistible invitation to receive her blessing and emanate the heart of the divine. There is a gentler way through which you make even greater spiritual progress. You joyfully and peacefully accept the path and allow your heart to let go. Fire, this third quarter is just going to be in a continuation of June, is what I'm hearing. There is so much being offered to you at this point that you don't even realize how far and how much you actually have gotten. Now, does that mean you're not going to think about it later? Probably will. But you're going to be in such a energetic, uplifted state at this point that you're just going to keep moving. It's just going to keep flowing because you are in such a joyful mindset. Everything is looking roses. I mean, we're going to have our ups and downs. That's just life. But you are really going to be embracing the joy beyond the negativity or the frustration of anything else. So this third quarter, Lakshmi's coming in to bring good luck and prosperity. The dendritic agate or dendritic opal is really calling to your soul for its healing. You've already done a lot of healing, so this is going to be that time where you're kind of dealing with recovery, but recovery can be fun. And this is the dendritic, is this middle one here. And they call it that because when you actually cut these stones or you polish them, they have these little like finger-like trees in them, and it's such a cool-looking stone. I found a few wild ones as I was roaming around, and they bring a sense of peace to you. And it's like you get to see the forest and the trees when you have this kind of crystal around you. So it's definitely one I recommend if you can find one. And your month of July, oh, interesting, is your energy. It's the Ace of Fire, an exciting new opportunity, career advancement, changing your life now. Fire, can't get much more clear than that. July is going to be the amplification of June. June was having fun, getting joy, connecting, creating, expanding. Fire's like, okay, you've got all this going. What are we going to do next? How big do you want this to go? So fire energy in July is growth. 100%. There's not going to be a lot of slowdown here, but it's not growth in the way you were. It's growth in a new way. So there's something new coming in. Really, I'm feeling that this new energy is actually coming in from January. So whatever's starting to pop up with the first of the year with that Ten of Pentacles energy is really going to be carried through to July, when there's going to be a shift that occurs where you start a new project, a new phase of life. Spouse might end up pregnant. You might end up buying that house. There's something shifting here, but this is a new beginning for you. and it's tied to your passion, to the core of who you are, fire. The Ace of Fire, the Ace of Wands, this is you at your core, but it's something new that's starting. So July is going to be fun. And I love how my decks are playing with me today. The clarifier is the central sun. Abundance, downloads, regeneration, and success. You have a scarab on here, which is also a symbol of immortality. The central sun is the concept of the monad, the creator of everything, the light that births all light. So you are really starting something new, but you have the blessing of this higher frequency, this higher energy, and it's shining down upon you, offering you the regeneration, the success, the growth. With the scarab, you're also looking at the concept of immortality, which is something that is going to be in perpetuity. Perpetuity? So you've got this, whatever you're starting right now is actually setting you up for the future, where things are just going to continue to shift and grow along this particular path. So whatever journey you're on, fire, in July, it's going to shift into something different. This is a long-term goal. If you build vision boards, July is when you're going to start seeing the long-term things really start to take form in some way, shape. It could be that inspired idea where you're like, no, if I do this, I'll end up in a position where I can do that. And that's getting you to those long-term goals. So August is, really good June, July. August, not so much. You have number 15, the devil. There is something that has to be learned in August. There is a contrarian type energy. But what's interesting with this fire is I'm feeling that this is one of those things where everything was going really good and now you have someone pushing back. And it doesn't feel like it's going to be a bad thing. It's more of, are you sure? Are you sure this is what you want? And the other person is not trying to make you change your mind. They're not really doubting you. They're more wanting to test your mettle. Are you really ready for what's going to happen? Are you really buying that house? Are you really ready for another kid? I cannot believe. Are you seriously going to propose to that person? Is it negative? Or is it someone asking the questions that you've kind of been thinking, and then you have to formulate an answer, maybe not to them, but to yourself? And that's not always a bad thing. The devil in tarot is always seen as, not always, a lot of people see it as hyper negative, but reality, the devil in this aspect is a contrarian. It's someone coming to challenge you, someone to test how strong your will is. Are you ready for the next sets? Because this is going to push back a little bit. It's not saying you're done, but you can't grow without a challenge. You can't push beyond without a test of strength. And that's what August is really going to be doing. I'm telling you, my cards are playing. Your clarifier is the karmic board clearing. Energetic clearing, rewriting your story, and living your truth. So when you have karma energy being cleared, the contrarian can actually be the catalyst for that. So when the catalyst of the contrarian, the devil, comes forward and says, you really think you want that? This is helping you purge out, to clear out some karmic lessons, some karmic burden. What you did in the first quarter with February and March, where you're kind of bringing up those inner child, looking at things more clearly and getting some stuff moving, those were great because it sets you up for what happens in August. August is the time where you get to finalize that energy. Nope, we're done with all that history. We don't need it anymore. I've learned my lesson. This is how I've learned my lesson. This can be a conscious or a subconscious response. And you realize you're not that person anymore. You've shifted. August is a time of realization and reawakening to really to your divine path. This is not going to be what you were in 2025. It wasn't what you were in 2024. You're a different person. And that realization really takes hold when you have someone who pushes back on you in August, or an energy that pushes back on you in August. So in September, I should have this written out. We are walking into September with the Four of Air. Time to rest or take a vacation, allow time before making a decision, meditation providing answers. When you get things started in July, And you really have to, you may end up a little bit of a challenge in August trying to make sure you're clear on what it is you're after. There's a time for rest. September is a time where we're into the second harvest. We are really looking at setting things up for the winter. You're getting things ready for wrapping it up from the summer. You're into school, all these things. And what is one of the key takeaways of that time period is you're getting ready to quiet things down. So taking a break, allowing yourself to rest, to recover, is very, very strong in this third quarter. And it's because you've done a lot of work this year, spiritually, fire. And what I'm seeing here with this lineup is you building to an apex. July is going to be the peak. August is going to be the challenge. So kind of that's the energy we're looking at here. But September is the recovery from the challenge. Like, nope, you've made your decision. You're quite comfortable with it. Yes, this is what you're going to do. You're meditating. You're working with your guides, your guardians. You're connecting in with God's source, because it's now time to do the work of achieving the next part. And your clarifier is the I am presence, light body activation, accessing the divine wisdom within. I'm telling you, my cards are being really good today. Oops, switch those around. So when we look at these two energies, we're looking at the Four of Air, saying maybe it's time to take a little bit of a breather after you've had a busy, energetic year so far. And the I am presence is saying connecting back into God's source. When you use the phrase I am before another verb energy, it's really saying this is what I create. I am aligned with this energy. So when we take the time to be quiet within, we take the time to meditate, just as it says on the card, and we use the term I am. I am whatever it is, your dream, goal, and ambition that popped in July. I am the owner of this house. I am the owner of this business. I am in this promoted position. I am the father. I am the mother. I am the family person. When you start to use those terms, it shifts something in your awareness, first of all, but second of all, it shifts the world as well. Other people may not even notice, but your world shifts, because when you say I am and then follow it with something, you're creating. And so this third quarter is about understanding what it is you're creating next, that July energy, stepping through the challenges, that contrarian that comes in August, and then embracing those new aspects of yourself in September. Because at that point you can take the rest, because you know where you stand. You don't have to fight about it anymore, outside or inside. You don't have to fight about it. You know, fire. And then we're moving into the fourth quarter. Before we do that, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, drop a like on the video, comment, let me know your thoughts, feelings, and impressions. And if you happen to, as I'm shuffling here, see a different message in the cards, or when I'm holding them up, if you get a different impression, feel free to leave that in the comments down below. It's always interesting to hear what other people say and see when we read intuitively. So, on to the fourth quarter, which is October, November, and December, going into the dark months. You have the angel Isda, and the stone is carnelian. Carnelian is a fire stone, so you're ending the year with your power. The title is Nourishment. Growth requires nourishment. As you grow, you gain well-being and strength, becoming a more radiant light on this planet for the spiritual benefit of all beings. You recognize that in giving to yourself, you are ultimately giving to others. You embrace your power of choice to nourish yourself with what truly feeds and empowers your body, mind, and soul. You explore your own ways to be healthy. You trust in your ability to nurture yourself and others. This could be stepping into a new diet plan, aligning with your spiritual journey that you've been on this year. It could be a new spiritual nourishment, going back to the church, the synagogue, whatever it is. Or you might be finding a new place, like you might find a coven, you might find a lodge that really resonates for you. This is a time where you're starting to come into a deeper understanding. You've been through a lot of this already, fire. I'm not saying that, where you've been doesn't count. It does, because it led you to here. And now you get to take it even deeper. So it's not a matter of, well, what was everything else? Does that just not count? It does, because it led you here. It led you to this year, 2026. And now that you're in 2026, where are you headed next? What are you creating? This last quarter is about, basically, I'm feeling it's grounding in the energy. You've been doing a lot of grounding this year, but you've changed into someone who's completely different than who they were in the first. You've changed by this point in the year, 2026-ish. You're not the same person you were in 2025. You weren't by this fourth quarter. You're not the same person you were in January. So be ready for those shifts and embrace the growth that has happened. Doesn't matter if it's this much growth or it's this much growth. You've shifted, and that's what's important. And you're aware of it at this point. Like, you've come into your own. You're like, nope, I know what's happening. I'm able to handle this. I've already done all the other stuff, so why wouldn't I be able to keep going? So it's really good energy. Your October energy, which is the month of Samhain, it's also the final harvest. Really getting everything locked down because winter is coming. We have the King of Earth, generous, professional, responsible, and practical. A successful time, confidently accepting opportunities that you're offered. The Midas touch. October is going to be another prosperous month. Not quite on the hyperactive level that July was. July was intense for everything's happening, all of it's new, you're great, everything's moving. King of Earth is grounded. Been there, done that. I got what I needed to know. I've had to deal with my challenges, that contrarian in August. Now in October, after you're resting and reconnecting, you can see what's next. You don't have to worry about it. Everything's lined up and you know where you're at. You know how this is going to end up. Whether it's long-term or short-term, you're not scared of it anymore because you've overcome everything else. So you've got this. And that's the energy. It's a quiet confidence is what I'm hearing is the term they keep bringing up, is a quiet confidence. You don't have to worry. Like, you're good. So let's see what our clarifier has to say here. So far they've been pretty accurate. Akashic records, clearing old stories, releasing past lives, freedom. The king does not bend the knee to anyone. The king, in a lot of ways, could be seen as the ultimate free person. Don't get me wrong, the king is also the slave to the country. So you've got a little bit of a dichotomy here, but that's where you get to clear out the old story. Just like in September, you had the I am energy that came forward. That's allowing you to release your past. That's showing you the freedom of the future because you're the one that creates it. The King of Earth has many, many experiences. They have had enough of life experiences. They don't have to worry about anything else. And that is a sense of freedom as well. Like, you've already done this. Look at how far you've come. Look what you survived. Look what you have dealt with. October is going to be the time where you just don't, you're unbothered by all this nonsense. It doesn't matter to you. Their problems, the world's problems, the people you work with problems, that's theirs. You're not going to be mean to them, but it's not yours. And you are fully aware of that separation, and that gives you confidence to be able to move forward actually in a very healthy way. And that, dear fire, breaks a karmic connection, allowing you to understand a deeper aspect of the Akashic records. So you're in a really good spot. You may just not, other people may not be okay with it, but that's their deal. They have their own karma to deal with. We're talking about fire. Your November, you have the Three of Swords. This is a card of betrayal, of something being lost or a hurt. The King of Earth has overcome in October. In November, there's something coming up here that is going to, it's not going to be like the devil in the questioning part. It's definitely going to rattle you for a second. It's not, they're not saying it's going to be tragic all over. It's almost like you feel like someone who is close to you. It feels like someone who is close to you accidentally said something that was offensive or did something that was like, I can't believe they did that. Like, they almost broke trust with you. We'll see what the clarifier says, but the energy I'm getting right here is, don't take this personal, fire. It's not the way it looks. It might appear that way to the outside. That's a knee-jerk reaction. Take a breath and really focus and ground, because something is... Oh, the devil's in the details. Someone else is playing a card here that is... They're trying to burn you because you are succeeding and they're not happy about it. But what they forget, fire, you are the thing that burns. They don't want to play this game with you. Not advisable. Your clarifier is the Soul Star activation card, fulfilling soul contracts, remembering who you are. Ah, that's what it was. They need the reminder that you don't bend the knee anymore. They are going to be the ones that are trying to test you, not knowing that you're the reason that they have gotten to where they are. But it's not an intentional thing. I do not feel malice in this. It's more of an oopsie. And the Soul Star activation, this is where you tap into that, going back to the first of the year with Metatron, you're tapping into a lot deeper understanding of the Akashic Record, so you can see that this pattern that's playing out is necessary. Yeah, it's not going to be fun. You're going to be like, WTF, yo? Like, what is this person doing? It's not conscious on their part, because it is tapping into this higher energy where there's a shift that has to happen. This person and your journeys might be at a time where they have to part for a while. It's not showing permanency, but it's definitely like that person has their lessons, you've learned yours, so there is a separation that is starting to occur. It may feel like there is a betrayal here. There's not. This is a soul karmic pattern that you've overcome. That person's back into the cycle again because they haven't overcome it. And it's not going to be comfortable. November does not look comfortable, but it is necessary. And the message that I'm getting is, don't take this personal. It's not yours. It's theirs. They have to process. When they pick up the lesson and figure it out, they're going to come back. And it's going to be an entirely different type of person that comes back. You'll still have that person you used to know, but they will have grown basically over the problem. So, moving into December, we'll wrap this one up here with the Nine of Wands. Fire, you're ending with a bang. Nine of Wands is saying you've accomplished, you've conquered, you've overcome. There's a burden that you have carried, you've let it go. You're a little ragged because there's been some a little bit of roughness going on here, but you're ready to move forward. You're moving forward with wisdom. You know you're about to wrap up another set of growth periods. The energy we're looking at here is very much beyond what you've done. You started the year off with the Ten of Pentacles, Ten of Earth, where your success, your prosperity, your abundance, you're celebrating how far you've come, and the end of the year is saying, yeah, well, I almost did it again. So you're really moving forward rapidly. Fire, I don't know what you've gotten tied into, but you're not standing still. Fire never does. But you're really rolling right now, and this year is going to be a lot of positivity. There's a pretty strong growth here. There is some hiccups, don't get me wrong, but it overall looks like you're moving in a very strong direction. Your clarifier is the divine matrix, interconnectedness, synchronicity, and instead of coincidences, they say God incidences. Fire, nothing happens by chance. And the more you come into your spiritual path, the spiritual understanding of the universe, you start to see how everything is connected. This pattern, all the threads intertwine, and it makes the mosaic. It's the matrix of reality. It's the matrix of expansion and growth. You are now fully aware. By the end of this 2026 year, you're going to be able to see the threads of life in an entirely different way. You're going to see the threads of life in a much more expanded and exalted way than you did before. And what I'm feeling with this is going to be such a rewarding event by December that you're stepping into this peace. Like, you've been there, you've done that, you've done all the things, you've put in all the work and effort, and now you're ready to accomplish even greater things. So it may not feel the most comfortable this year, Fire, but the rewards at the end of the year are going to be worth it. There's going to be so much available. Again, we're looking at the energy here. The energy is shifted. We've went from a lot heavier but successful, cleared some things out, and you've moved into a place where even when someone challenges you, the devil, or the Three of Swords, you know that this is not about you anymore. It's making sure you're ready for what's next. It's making sure that you can test your mettle against things, but you've overcome it. So this year of 2026 for our fire family, a lot of growth, lot of movement, but you've got this. And if you are curious, we'll pop back here. For your first quarter crystal is quartz. Your second quarter crystal is Tibetan quartz, a lot of quartz. Your third quarter is the dendritic agate. And your fourth quarter is fire, your stone, carnelian. If you're curious to have those with you. With that, I will wrap this up. Have a great 2026, and I will see you in the next video.